Okay, let's take a look at this article here. The Critical Analysis, Murder on the Orient Express by Agatha Christie. This article was written by SIMRAN SINGH from the owlcation.com website. The cultural context. Crime fiction was a popular genre due to the way it served as a form of escapism from the stress of the world wars. As P.D. James stated, quote, "What the detective story is about is not murder, but the restoration of order." This is reflected through the common characteristics of the genre. This includes suspense, several murders, detectives attempting to track of the murder's next move, a complex plot, and a psychological approach to the reading character's personality and behavior. Societal views and ideas reflected in the genre include of justice, truth, law, and order. The outcome served to the villain of the story is often perceived to be justice. However, the idea of justice is challenged within Christie's novel, as the murderers of the primary villain do not receive punishment for their actions. This contradicted the social norms of the genre, where books such as The Adventures of Sherlock Holmes by Arthur Conan Doyle ended with the murderer being brought to justice. This perception of justice supports the growing trend of vigilantism within the time period. This is seen with movies such as The Mark of Zorro, Robin Hood, and texts such as Zorro by Johnson Macaulay. The war was a devastating effect on citizens' faith in the law and God, which made vigilantism appealing in popular culture. Resources were depleted, hysteria was caused due to mass deaths, and the seemingly endless war of attrition hurting the economy. The pain manifests incarnations into the spirit of vengeance present within this book. The work alludes to the French Revolution in 1789, where the people's justice included killing the higher classes and the monarchy. Like how the monarchy escaped prosecution due to their money and status. The murderer Ratchet does the same with his wealth and the secret hold he had over various persons to be acquitted from his murder of young Daisy. The failure of the law is expressed in how Ratchet was able to change his name from Cassetti to Ratchet and go traveling. So in the same vengeful revolutionary spirit, Daisy's family murders Ratchet. Technique. Techniques such as juxtaposition, allusions, and symbolism are utilized to challenge the audience's perception of law and justice. Ratchet's characterization symbolically paints him as the epitome of evil. The characters continually mention how his murder of a child makes deserving of death. Furthermore, his character is symbolic of who the French Revolution revolted against. The rich who bought their way out of condemnation and held themselves above the law. To reflect the character's distrust of God's power, Franz Schmidt states God should not allow terrible events such as child murders to occur. The monarchy also created the narrative of being appointed by God. Thus, to twist the monarchy's narration into irony, Daisy's family uses Christian allusion to imply they are working for a power higher than the judicial system. Juxtaposition is used between an early scene where a woman is stoned to death for adultery and the scene where the Armstrong family's murder is exposed. Hercule Poirot defends this law, despite grimacing at the barbarity of her punishment. Yet when the family comes together to ritualistically stab Ratchet in the name of vigilante justice, Hercule Poirot condemns the crime. Why does he defend the barbarity of the law's justice and reject the people's justice toward a murderer the law failed to catch? Ironically, in the end, Poirot puts aside his Kantian belief in relation to the law and passively agrees with the murder by allowing the family to get away with the crime. Another allusion includes the number of people who stab Ratchet, 12. The number 12 is a Christian allusion to the 12 apostles enacting God's work, and is the number of people needed for a jury. This confronts and challenges the audience perception of juries, and why would one consider their form of justice as barbarity and not the U.S. legal system. This also makes the audience question whether it's right to use the name of God in the name of justice, which was a common occurrence in law and governing systems. As a result, Christie uses a variety of techniques to challenge the norms of the legal system, confronts both Poirot and the audience with the ethics regarding the law being just. Okay, so that's a quick analysis of our story, Murder on the Orient Express.